What's going on, guys? This is Danny Jugan with Axis Football. This video is going to highlight the changes that you can expect to see in Update 3.0 for Axis Football 2017, which is now live on Steam. A couple things I want to touch on before we get into the new features and the improvements. We've made it kind of a pattern over the past couple years to do large content post-release updates. So after we release the game, we add several key features to the game over the next couple months. We know that you guys like that, but what effect it has on us in terms of long-term improvement is it kind of stunts our growth each year. A lot of the features that we add require us to break things that are currently in the game. We have to break them to build a better foundation so that when we build them back up again, they can be much better. And when we do these large content updates 2 and 3 months after we release, it forces us to keep the game in a largely whole state, which means we can't break things, which means we don't have as much time to improve, long story short. It also prevents us from focusing on releasing on other consoles, or I should say other platforms like consoles or mobile. Our mobile release is typically a few months after we release on Steam, and that's not something that we're thrilled about. We would like it to be much closer in terms of releasing on all platforms within about a month. It would be our goal. And so what we're going to focus on 2018 dev cycle is to have all of the features that we want to put in August, and then we can release on PC, we can release on mobile, and we can release on consoles in a much shorter time frame without dragging it out over several months. With the mobile, we know that several of you have continued to ask its status. What ended up happening that we are almost done sorting through is we ran into some stability issues. We're doing a lot in the game in terms of graphics and under the hood stuff, and trying to get a game that runs on PC to also run on a phone is very challenging, and we were running into some stability and crashing issues on older devices, iPhone 6, some of the older Android phones, and so we want to make sure that we can get those stable for as many users as we can. We know not everyone has the new iPhone 7 or 8, and so that's something we definitely want to have for you guys. So we're working through the last couple issues there. We know you're anxious to play. We're anxious to get it into your guys' hands, and we're excited for that as well. So that's our plan going in the future. This will be our last update for 2017. We're going to officially close the books on the 2017 dev cycle and move on to 2018 after this. We're definitely excited for what we've got planned for there, and we will keep you posted as well. Alright, so without further ado, let's get into the improvements and the changes that we have here. I already did a video a couple weeks ago highlighting some of the AI changes, so I'll just touch on those briefly at the end of this video. But let's get into some of the things that we have done new in this update. The first thing you'll see is this little pop-up window that was really quick. We added a pop-up loading screen to the game just to help facilitate what's going on. Before, it would just kind of pause for a second or freeze, and you weren't really sure what it was doing. So now we've added pop-up loading screens for things like when you're loading the uniforms, you're loading the game setup options, that sort of thing, just so that you have a better idea of what the game is doing under the hood. Let's hop down to League Leaders. League Leaders is something we added last update. We had really good feedback on it, and one of the things you guys requested was the ability to see not only the top 5, but the top 50 or whatever, and so that's what we did. We went in, and now you can actually click on any of these categories, and it'll pop up this window where you can now see the top 50 in the league. We've done that for all of the categories, and it obviously works with any of the controllers and that sort of thing. So that's one of the things we've added. So we hope you like that. Definitely let us know what you think. Actually, let me go into a game here. There's the kind of the loading uniform pop-up screen. One of the other things we added is about 50 brand new uniforms spread across the teams. So some teams got more than others. A couple teams didn't get any because they already had 6 or 7 uniforms. So for example, one of the new uniforms for Pittsburgh is think it's alternate 3. So we've got this kind of yellow jersey with the steel writing is one of the options for them. So all in all, we added, like I said, about 50 different uniforms. We've got an awesome uniform designer, so props to them for the work that they did. Next big thing that we have added is a brand new stadium. So we're going to add these, over the next few months as we add in 2018 stuff. So this one is going to be for Baltimore. So it's got kind of the sugar factory, iconic sugar factory in the background. You can see Maryland's flag up there. So let's go actually and check this out. One of the other things that we have done in terms of stadiums is we went back to that first 3D stadium that we had, and we really optimized it so that it ran better on a wider variety of machines. So you should definitely notice better performance when you're playing on that stadium. So we've got smoke coming out of the factory, we've got some flags blowing in the wind, and we've got this really cool brick Coliseum style stadium with some signs in the background, and the Jumbotron that's panning the stadium. So this is one of the new things that we'll add graphically. You'll be able to select this as you get into the game. And I'm actually going to, let me do this. Let me go back and let me get into some of the gameplay changes that you can expect to see. Let me put myself on defense. So we'll let this load back up. And I mentioned at the beginning, I'm going to touch on some of the AI improvements at the very end, but there's two large things that we did to help things out on the defensive side of things. We know that you guys have been asking for a long time for some kind of pre-snap controls on defense. And what we have done is added two things for you guys. One's kind of minor. You guys have been requesting some additional options for defensive shifts. And so we have, let me go into, just pick a base play here, and I'm going to pause this. If we look down here for under the shifts category, or under the pre-play window, you'll see that we have a brand new option for shift players. Now, in previous versions, what we did is we listed the 3 different ways that you could shift. So you could shift your D-line, your linebackers, or your defensive backs up and upper back, like press coverage, or kind of a release, safe zone. And we've changed it now to where there's just a single X button, and if I hit that X button, it's going to pop up a brand new one. And here, this gives you much more control. So you hit A, or you hold A for the defensive line, X for linebackers, and Y for defensive backs, and then you use your left stick to do whatever you want with them. So if we look at D-line, for example, if you want to move them left, you just hold A and tap left, or tap right and move them right. Or you can tap up to scatter them, or press down to pinch them. So you can move them, spread them out, or pinch them in. Same thing for the linebackers. For the defensive backs, you can drop them back, move them up in press coverage, or you can shift the safeties a little bit over the top one way or the other if you want to kind of cheat to one side. So I will show you example here. Let me go back into defense, and I will spread out them, pinch the linebackers together, just to give you some different ideas of what we've got. So that is the new adjustments to the defensive shifts. The next thing I'm going to show you, you guys have been asking for this for a while, are hot routes. So I'm going to hit Y, and that's going to pull up defensive hot routes. So you have a couple options here. I know the way Madden does it is you can only, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, you can only select a hot route for the defender that you are currently selecting. So for example, we are clicked on Sanchez here, and so this is the only player that we could assign a hot route to. What we have done is given you that option as well. So we hit Y to pull up the defensive hot routes menu, and you can hit B to immediately give a hot route to the guy you have selected. But we also give you the ability to stay selected on the player that you have and select somebody else. So if you want to go linebackers, you would just hit X. And I'm going to unpause this. You would hit X, and that pops up all of your linebackers. Let me go to, there we go. And then you simply hit, so let's say we want to give to the Sam linebacker, I would just hit B, and that would pop up all of the options that we have in terms of what we want to do here. So his current assignment, I believe, is man. Yeah, so right now he's in man coverage on this tight end. And so let's say we wanted to change that to have him either drop into a zone or blitz. Let's have him blitz. So I'm going to hit A. And now we see that his, so I'm trying to pause this so they don't snap the ball. We see that his coverage is been changed from man to him to now he is blitzing. So that's how defensive hot routes work. I'll show you the switch to man coverage. So if I go in, let's do, I'm going to go this press flat where the safeties are coming down to the flat. And we see here right now that this safety is covering the flat over here. I'm going to hot routes and have him play man coverage on, maybe we'll have him spy the quarterback instead. So let me go ahead into there. We'll go, wow, snapped the ball before I was ready. When I pause it like that, it's the internal timer that determines when they snap the ball continues to run. So things happen a little bit differently when I run the game from the development environment. So I'm going to go safe zone here, play B, and then I'm going to go back. I'm going to select the secondary. I'm going to go with a strong safety right here, and then I'm going to say you have man coverage, so I'm going to hit X. And then what that does is it pops up all of the options for who we can have man coverage. So even if you want him to, all right, let's have him double team this receiver out on the right side because currently he's in a zone. So I'm going to hit right bump, and now he's going to be in man coverage on this guy over here. So again, what this does is it gives you that physics gets a little out of control at times. That's one of the things that we have on our list to work on for 2018. But all in all, the changes we're making on defense is we want to give you as much power as possible. It's a lot of fun when you can recognize something that the offense is doing or intends to do and make adjustments on defense to intentionally counter that. Those are the kind of controls that we want to put into your hands. So hopefully you guys really like these changes we made in gameplay in terms of the additions on defense. Let me just run through some of the AI changes that we've implemented, and we can wrap this up. I mentioned before that we already did a video on runner hole selection. That should be vastly improved, so we're looking forward to getting that into your hands. Some of the other changes we've done is we've removed the rubber band AI. As we've improved the AI gradually over the past couple years, we've noticed that the rubber band AI that we had in place to keep games close and interesting was unnecessary because the AI had improved so much. So we have removed that, and we've seen good things from that in our testing. We've improved the quarterback pass selection, so he should be a little bit more intelligent and take into consideration the down and distance when he selects his passes. When you played AI versus AI, so spectator mode or coach mode, or you watched the computer hand the ball off sometimes the quarterback would do a little kind of like a spin before he would hand the ball off. That's something that we have fixed. And two other quick things here. There were some times where when you would throw the ball, or the AI would throw the ball to a receiver that was close to the line, specifically ones that had their back to the quarterback, even if they were expecting the ball, they wouldn't react in time to a pass, and they would just kind of keep running along their current path and not react to where the ball was thrown. That is something that we have fixed, so they will react to quick passes. And there were also quite a few instances where we had players running routes and they were kind of just endless running into each other. We have written a completely new, what is called a local avoidance system, to where they will avoid those players and make intelligent choices to run around them while still maintaining their route as much as possible. So all in all, you should see much more intelligent actions from the players when they are on the field. As always, this stuff is a work in progress, and we're going to strive to give you guys the best game possible and the most simulation-like game as possible. So that wraps up what we've done, what we've got implemented in this version 3.0 for Access 17. Please let us know what you guys think. Please support us as best you can, knowing that any money that we earn from this game gets put right back into it. Hopefully that is evident with the progress we've made over the past couple years. We are going to hit the ground running with our 2018 dev cycle. You can definitely expect more dev videos highlighting the changes that we are going to be doing over the next 9 months or so as we prepare for release. So let us know what you think. Tell your friends. Share the game as much as you can. We will focus on making the best simulation football game we can, and we will be in touch soon. Thank you so much.